Cornucopias is a cutting-edge open-world MMO set in a world where humanity has ascended from the Earth's surface and created a breathtaking new world in the sky. This fantastical realm is a system of floating islands carved from the land we once called home, now encased in radically advanced dome-shaped structures suspended high above the clouds. Each one is a futuristic marvel with its own unique environment, identity, and thriving communities. It is within these domes the epic journey begins. Here, players take control of their own personal avatar, which gives them the freedom to choose their destiny. Be immersed in vast landscapes, explore vibrant settlements, and engage in a myriad of activities such as crafting, commerce, combat, racing, and more. Welcome to a world where the sky is no longer the limit.
Hey everybody, welcome to COPICafe. This is episode 126 and you've got Rob Gregg here and Josh Jones. We've got some fun stuff to talk about today. It's been a bit, we've been in crunch mode, lots of exciting things happening, lots of problems, lots of decisions, but we're here and this is another episode of COPICafe. We're going to talk about the market, no delegation, the apartment builder, build status. We got a special guest, potentially, we hope. And a huge game studio release that we'll get to near the end there. And we've got some questions as usual. So, Rob, what are you drinking today, sir?
So today I'm going to kick it off with an ice kick. A new drink. A new
Lucasade. Lucasade.
All right. The kind of like a lemony flavor, usually the orange or
So did that spin off from Gatorade or did Gatorade spin off from Lucasade?
Oh no, well I wouldn't know, but this is a lot less sugar than. Well, I don't actually know, but
less sugars, definitely.
It's more of a sports drink. Gatorade's not really for sports, isn't that more for playing when you piece it out?
No, Gatorade's for sports. Yeah, it's a hydration type drink. Many of them have a lot of sugar, but
maybe the same.
Okay, I am having something I haven't had in a while. Just cracked open a bubbly.
Bubbly?
No. Bubbles.
Thought you had a bottle of Plonk.
All right, let's kick it off. So the market, as of right now, and obviously it'll be Friday when this is playing, but as of right now, Bitcoin, it's Thursday, Bitcoin is above 100,000. Did not necessarily expect to see that happen this week, but pretty awesome that it is.
We knew it was going to happen.
Huh?
We knew it was going to happen. Well, we thought it was going to happen.
You knew the exact date and time?
Not the exact date, no. I knew the year.
Yeah. I would agree with you. I think I've definitely had the optimism of us going into a much different market, but a much more bullish market potentially this year. There's obviously a large amount of macro factors in play right now, but yeah, it's looking good. That's exciting. Always good to see something like this week in Bitcoin, and hopefully it stays that way. Who knows? Tomorrow could be
let's
totally changed. Huh?
Let's hope it lasts. The others will follow it. It'll start off with Bitcoin. Ethereum's also doing a nice little march at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think BNB, then ADA will follow. So all like kind of like the top 10.
Yeah, it often pulls a lot of them up, and then Bitcoin dominance has been pretty high, but I think it came down a little bit in the last 24 hours. That's typically when it starts rocketing down. Is typically when you see alt season happening. And who knows where we're headed, but lots of good signs in the macro conditions around the world with quantitative easing, with Fed rates. You had some in the UK. You've got the global M2, the global liquidity. that's been going up for quite a while, and that typically precedes things. Gold had been rocketing, and then Bitcoin usually lags gold, and they're similar in nature. So fun stuff there. That's got me excited. We'll see how it plays out. I think we've got a lot of year left. We'll see how this goes. It's always crypto can move fast and it can move slow,
Yeah,
and
it's important because obviously the sentiment within the space and people come
yeah,
back into the space. So we're not
yeah,
just talking about it because we own like 20 Bitcoin each. I wish.
yeah.
It's weird we talk about Bitcoin so much. I don't have a
There's
single
there,
bit, single fraction of a Bitcoin.
there's people there's influencers that I watch that I'm like, I wonder how many Bitcoin
Yeah,
that guy has. Some that have just been talking in the space for
yeah.
over 10 years, and it's like,
And then a bombshell, they don't own any.
yeah. um yeah, well, anyway, fun stuff in the market. Hopefully it kind of stays and keeps doing what we all want it to do. But next up is the node delegation. So that is pretty much complete. The
Mhm.
UI is done. The design for the UI was completed. Then the implementation of the UI is completed. And Greg's part of integrating all of that together is complete. And so now we need to have a meeting and go through some decisions that make possibly some changes that we'll need to announce, and then give you guys a heads up of how the rewards might change and give you enough warning about how anything that might be changing is going to go down, so that anybody's prepared. But there's no major changes. It's just yeah, we're in implementation mode. It's all positive. So great stuff happening with the nodes. In fact, we talked about it this morning that uh, with this next release, take the having all the nodes, all the game builds downloaded from node holders. I mean, that makes us, if not the first with active utilized nodes in the games industry, but we're definitely in a very small group. Most of the nodes that have been sold are literally not really doing anything yet. So I think,
Other projects, yeah,
yeah,
ours work
yeah,
all the time.
right, correct. I'm talking about other projects. So a lot of projects have got them up, but we happen to develop and get our commercially viable nodes a real utility and a real use case, and I think that's incredibly powerful. So,
Yeah, I mean it's been such a good project. It's what 1 year in development and basically 1 year in public testing so far.
yep, yep, very exciting, and very efficient. And if you honestly looking back, it's like, wow, there are some areas where with the work, the speed and the efficiency that Greg was working, it
Hmm.
could have been done in 6 months.
Yeah,
If we just had a lot of moving parts and a lot of other team members that were involved, and when they were needed, it's like, what are they working
yeah.
on and how much? So
We had the
there's
prototype
friction.
working 18 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, there was friction that caused it to take longer, but that's standard in any team. As
Hmm.
you grow, there's increased friction, dependencies, etc. Kind of what you were saying earlier. It's why we work in agile, try to prevent and reduce that risk. But yeah, so nodes, very exciting stuff coming soon, and then the apartment builder. Why don't you lead that one off?
Yeah, we've been working on the apartment builder. So it's a whole building tool that will also be used for the land, and
Mhm.
eventually it will also be used for the custom domes. It's coming along quite nicely. We've got some really good assets in there. We've got wall assets in there, corner pieces. We've got straight pieces, different sizes. We've got ceiling. We've got the floor. We've also got a kitchen in there, so we've got some splashbacks. We've got a stove. We've got all kinds of items that you can drag onto the screen and then snap together and move them around. So we've been having, we've probably on, I think we're on version 4 at the moment. We've it's always good to fail fast. So we've had a couple of prototypes. We've now landed on, I think this might be the final version. So that it's been completely written from scratch. We started off looking at plugins and all kinds of other stuff to kind of speed up, and it just very clearly wasn't going to work for the integration with the rest of the systems. But this is looking really slick at the moment, and the latest update I've seen is now you can change the materials of the items. So you can click on say the stove, or and that will be presented with 2 or 3 different colors, and you can change those materials. So we'll have a list of woods and plastics and metals and cloths, and you can change the various sides of it. We're experimenting with that, and it's coming along really, really, really nicely. Hopefully, we will get that in the hands of the public shortly after this build. Hopefully, in the next build.
Yeah, there's so many
Version
things
1.
that it's tied to
It'll
that.
be very unique because you can do your own mixes and matches of colors.
Hmm. Hmm. It's it's incredibly exciting. I've seen the demo and I'm very impressed with. It's going to be great. Yeah, I can't wait to get it in people's hands, and myself included. Like
Yeah.
the other challenge, aside from the programming side of that, is getting all the art assets. Which,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know, you mentioned a lot of assets there that we have some of those already, which is great. But then, you know, there's getting different styles. There's creating building kits and things
Mhm.
like that that are going to be so much fun for people to play with, and so you'll get a certain amount free that you can build with, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
A certain
And then
amount
there's
free.
in-game currency.
Yeah, and then others, yeah. Some could be bought with in-game currency, and then some could be bought with Kopi. I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Eventually, we'll have all different types of options, but um, same with the apartments as well. You know, everyone will get a free apartment, and we've got the apartment blocks themselves. This is a whole new
yeah.
area. I mean, people have seen it as you go into Solace. If you look, you will see the buildings, kind of as you go into the central hub. That they're just there at the top. So there's all kinds of um, different types of buildings in there. The starter home, should I say the size of it? The starter apartment will be 10 meters by 10 meters, and it
I
might
mean,
not
if it
sound a lot.
changes, it changes, but
Yeah.
that's the current status. Yeah.
So that, and then we've got some 10 by 20 and 20 by 20, and Davy's created some pinnacle ones on the other side. The layout of it, obviously, I mean, he's obviously an expert of creating worlds, and the
Hmm.
layout of that whole apartment block is really, really nice.
Yeah, and there
And
will be a sale opportunity for those larger sizes. So,
yeah,
um, some of those different sizes will do a sale. There will be building kit sale. There will be stuff you could buy with IGC as well, and then there will be stuff that's free.
yeah. So if you're into building, and you like to customize your place, that is the place for you. If you're not into it, just have a bed,
Yeah,
get on the train, and get over to Solace.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's going to be fun. It's very, very exciting. We're discussing and planning on the land grab and moving towards what we're going to do there as
Mhm.
well. So we haven't dropped the ball on that. We're kind of hoping to release a lot of this all together because what you're talking about, what you're building is, you know, they both work together. And
Yeah,
it's like you said, the custom dome, the land building kit, and the apartment building kit, all the same kind of system, which is great because it
we
gives
saw
us
an
kills
awful
three
lot of
birds. What?
yeah, we saw an awful lot of feedback from the community. Say when land grab, and then other people saying, well, what's the point of having a land grab if there's nothing to do on it? Well,
Right.
we're working on
Ex-
something to do. They will both
exactly.
go together, and that was why that's taking a little bit longer. It does make sense. You want to grab your land, you want to do something on it. You don't just want to look at it.
Yep. Exactly. Okay. Very good. Build status. So currently we're in the midst of the chaos,
Yep.
which is team members with negative hours because there's way too much to do, and trying to peel them away to get things accomplished is incredibly hard. We're debugging. There's a lot of bugs with Avatar 3.0. It's been what that's so far. Look, to have your own moving avatar within a game and multiple other people, together. The amount of complexity with the bones, the message, all the math around changing all of that.
Mm.
It's a huge amount of complexity. So we had a ton of bugs in Avatar 2.0, if you recall, that delayed things. Well,
Yep.
we're having the same scenario with Avatar 3.0, but it is being redone to the extent that's making it like this the full foundation is laid. Anything in the future is going to be minor changes, tons of improvements made, and now we're just in that debugging process where, I mean, you've seen some of the images in the staging build, and
Yeah.
the things that go wrong. It's extensive. There's so much complexity. So we're having to resolve this. I mean, you can imagine all of these different sliders in our avatar builder. You have to go test each and every one of those, and that's a lot of variables, millions of variables if you count,
Yeah.
you know, each different setting of each one. But the I guess the main point there is that this is a huge undertaking, Avatar 3.0. The movement system's going great. That's huge. The combat shooting's going great. It's more of debugging in the Avatar area
Well,
that
I
I'm
think
getting.
all those three work together because the avatar itself, we could have made a few changes with it, the look and feel, and that wouldn't have taken long at all. But what we did is we took that back, built a whole new skeletal mesh because we know motion matching. We wanted to integrate with that. So that on its own was quite hard. Motion matching, putting those two together, and at the same time the combat system, which then puts things on top of the bones that have all moved around, and then we also have to integrate that back into the front page as well. All those take the level of complexity to a whole new level. We had quite a few naked characters for a while.
Yeah,
One of the last build updates, the the skeleton was just completely destroyed. But you look like something out of The Fly. You know when The Fly goes wrong
got
and he comes out,
splattered.
you were
Yeah,
crawling around with your chin on the floor and everything disfigured all over the place.
it's
But
amazing
that's
what
to
could
be
go wrong.
expected. It's like you say, it's just a maths problem.
It is to be expected, and it is. So the point that I was really trying to make there is that the amount of hurdles you have to go through just to get the avatar,
Mhm.
the flexibility that we have in that avatar creator, the
Yeah.
complexity of that gives people their own unique expression of who they are in Cornucopias. It's enormous, and it puts us in a small group of projects that have done it to this level. There's not many in the world. And what does that say? That's a huge barrier to entry. It's a huge advantage, because it's so freaking hard to pull off. So the fact that we've pulled this off not once, not twice, but about to be three times with a really
Mhm.
elite grade avatar creator, we're going to have something to be really proud of. And it's very exciting.
I think
Now,
that's definitely been a trend over the last decade or so of people wanting to customize things that they're playing in the game. You know, that's why Minecraft has been so popular because you can just go in there and build whatever you want.
yeah,
With the avatar, you'll be able to create its look and feel, and the same with the builders. You know, you not only be able to place things in the world, but then you'll get to decide the colors on it, and changing the colors and mixing them together is actually tons of fun.
yep, yep. Gave me some ideas there. I wanted to start writing some stuff down. Shoot. Uh, yeah, just some good stuff. Okay. Uh, build status. So, yeah, we pretty much covered it with the build status. Now, that brings us into uh, a gaming studio that many of you might have heard of. In fact, I'd be surprised if any of you had not heard of them. Grand Theft Auto 6 uh, is that's not the studio. Rockstar
No, Rockstar,
Games
yeah.
is the studio, but Grand Theft Auto 6 is the announcement was that it's delayed. I guess it's about 6 months. I think it was originally planned for
Maybe
fall,
longer. Mm.
August or fall of 2025, and now it's pushed to early 26. Was that what it was? And what would you say is the reason for that, Rob? We can speculate, but I
Well, I
think
mean,
it's pretty obvious
everything
knowing
that
what we hear.
we've just said before. But I
Yeah.
mean, that game's on a whole different level. When you spend like 2 billion, I mean, you not only have to build the game, and you set off on a road. I mean, if you were born on the day that Grand Theft Auto 5 was released, you'd be 13 when number 6 comes out, and that's how long that game has taken so far. And who knows, it may even be delayed further. But looking at the previous trailer, the one before I think was rushed out, and they that wasn't ready. But the one that they've just done now, you can see it's going to be very heavily story based, just like the previous one was,
Mhm.
really, but on a whole different level. And they knew on the outset they were building something that was going to take at least 10 years. And we talk about agile. They had no idea what hardware would look like 10 years later. I mean, so how you
I don't
build
know
a
how they
project?
planned for that.
No, you just go
Well, they
either
were building
master.
their own engine, so that reduced a good amount of complexity.
But I mean, that's still another 10 years of developing their own engine, because they had to beef up their own engine as well. And
Right. It's
yeah,
just it gives you another element that is within your control, so you can say, well, we're going to have this element in 2 years. But to your point, yes, an incredible amount of changing technology that
yeah,
makes it really hard to plan and execute when you don't know where graphics cards are going to be in 5 years.
yeah.
You know, you can
And
guess.
we work with 40 odd people. Imagine if you got 1,000 plus people.
Yeah.
I couldn't even, a $2 billion budget.
Yeah. Goodness
Even
gracious.
with let's say all the money in the world, that still doesn't guarantee you're going to hit your deadlines. Yeah, it's quite a minor delay, but we
No,
don't
and
actually don't know if it's already been delayed years and years before. You just don't hear nothing.
in fact, in a lot of ways, it can make it slower. I mean,
Oh, definitely.
think about the amount of friction that we have in Cornucopias now versus when you and I were ideating in the very beginning.
Hmm.
We
Yeah,
don't like now when we try to, the larger you get, the more complicated it gets because there's more people in charge of more areas and they have the expertise in that area. And so you've got to bring in multiple people and wrangle teams in multiple departments. And it just increases the complexity exponentially. I can't
yeah,
imagine getting to 1,000 employees. Like
yeah.
that's,
And let's say 2 or 3 years down the line, maybe they changed writers or they had a different idea.
mm-hmm.
By which time they may have done some motion capture, they might have done lots. They might have spent hundreds of millions of dollars, and that just all gets thrown away. And then they just basically, you don't know. I mean, look at Cardano. That was started again after 2 years. That took 2 attempts.
Yeah.
Something like Grand Theft, the pressure to deliver that after the previous one. I mean, they had a budget because I think the previous one made
Oh,
a
are you
few
talking
million.
about with Cardano's original proof of work algorithm or
Well, it's always been proof of stake, but they
sorry,
rewrote.
proof of stake? Are
Yeah,
you talking about their
they
original
rewrote
proof of
Cardano
stake
after.
changed and they redid it with, yeah,
Yeah, after 2 years, Charles
yeah,
just threw away his development and started again.
yeah,
But
yeah, completely from
look what
scratch.
comes out of it. You have two bites
But
of the
it's like
cherry.
they launched with something and then they had all their scientists working on
Hmm.
papers from scientists all over the world and they got papers completed and then they knew they had to redo it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, which makes
you start off in one route, and that's why you have to be agile, because you don't want to go too far away, and you can't turn around and assess what you're doing.
yeah, there's so many unpredictable, unforeseen changes. Your strategy has to change. Startup is it's a really tough business, and for whatever reason, I'm drawn to it. Like it gets me fired up. I love being in startup, but at the same time, the challenges, the strategy, you're always changing. You make mistakes. You try to minimize the mistakes. You try to pick the right path, and then hindsight's 2020, like you said. You look back and you go, "Oh well, knowing what I know now, I would have done this, 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 and this." And it's true. It's tough, but
Yeah, I mean, I
that
don't.
is what it is. So I wonder what they would say. I wonder what they would
Yeah,
say they wish they did different.
you,
GTA,
you just don't know, do
the
you? I mean,
Rockstar.
13 years later, the, they may only have a fraction of the staff that were there at the start.
And then what happens if, being that it took that long, what happens if what they launch with is not sufficient for what people are wanting in that given
Yeah.
time, and they have to delay
Well,
again to get.
you can guarantee there is armies of people that will say it's terrible, whether it is or not. They're all queuing up because people just love to bash things.
Yeah, it's true.
Even if it comes out and it's brilliant, it'll be look how long it took. Look at the delays. Look at the money it cost them. They'll find an angle.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But all that we do know is
Any noise is good
development is hard.
noise. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, why don't we take some questions and then we can go into the leak segment after that. Um, so I'll start. I'll start with you. I think you had one for me. At the end. So this is from Black Knight, and the question is: when the materials are enabled, would it be possible to make an item we're using invisible, like a helmet, for example?
Oh, customizing outfits as well. Yeah. Okay. Um, it is definitely possible to make an item invisible. Um, we're not quite Harry Potter. We're not going for that kind of look and feel. So, although it is possible, I think it would be highly unlikely that we have an invisibility cloak as a well, maybe as a cloak as an item. Who knows? But not as a default that you can just put on and have an invisible hat.
Right,
Very
right.
unlikely. But we do have the power to do that.
So here's a question from Faux Hubris yesterday, or Faux Hubris of the Knights, second night in a row. In a past COPICafe, it was said that with the experience from building Solace, Esperanza could be completed in a month. Many took that to mean public release. With Esperanza not in the next build, was that timeline impacted by shifting resources away from Esperanza, or was completed meant on the internal build? This one's for you.
Yeah, it's a good question, man. I mean, yeah, many months ago, I think it might have been David that says we can build it in a month. What he meant is, we can get to first pass within a month. That's kind of building all the assets, and in the next build, we do have a glimpse of Esperanza, and what that means is we have all the assets that we want. We have the cacti, we have all the grasses, all those. You will see all those assets in this next build. We made a decision of 6 to 9 months ago that we wanted to actually release the sectors for one zone all at the same time. That's why Solace came out together. I think originally we were planning on maybe release Solace 1, then 2, then 3, then Esperanza 1, 2, and 3. But then we decided we're going to do them all together. So, and we do work on the land plots kind of in parallel together. But it does take a good few months to put them together to get the base levels together of all three, which we're at. I think we're probably about
And
90%
to the
through now.
detail and past the detailed pass,
Yeah,
as well.
and then
Yeah,
you got
not
to
just the first pass. Yeah.
put all put the details on them. Then eventually you have to mark out where the land plots are going to go. You have to put them down. You have to then put all the different towns on there. Then you have to let QA. They literally walk up every single inch
Yeah.
hundreds of times on all three of them.
Yeah.
So it is possible to get to a certain point within a month, but not complete the whole dome.
Yeah.
And we don't do that anymore now. We built Solace 1 on its own. We now
Yeah.
build all three together.
Yeah. And in addition, so I think the intent of the statement was that we've gotten faster and faster and
We
faster
definitely got faster.
because we're improving our systems,
Mhm.
and it's significantly improved. Now, to the shifting resources, we're always shifting resources, like kind of like what we said with a startup scenario. You've got to change your strategy, you shift resources, you're trying to deliver as best you can within limited constraints always. Or not always. There's points where you can have unlimited constraints financially, but you've got a certain window. You're operating within this strategy, and you're trying to do the best you can within given circumstances, and that causes you to have to shift resources some here and there. But for the most part, we've kept those the same, and it's just a matter of the process. We're just going through the process and improving the efficiency. But we're trying to get you guys. The main point, I think, what Rob said was, we need to get you guys something to do on the land. And that's a big factor that we did shift some resources for that to make sure that there is something that you guys can do once you have the land grab. And that was something from Michael, who brought that up. And so, yeah, we completely agree with that. And a lot
Yeah.
of you agree with that.
For example, in this next build, we were going to put a mine. So we had a mine that we showed off actually a few years ago now. That mine is actually coming into Solace 1. So the one you see in Solace 1 will be the same mine, few tweaks, but basically the same layout as what those that came to Vegas saw that. Was it a Rare Evo a few years ago? But we actually decided that we're going to put a mine in each. So an example of moving resources temporarily is we now have a working mine that's also going to be in Solace 2 and in Solace 3. They're all different layouts. It's not a copy and paste. Everything's unique. But this time round, we didn't have jetpacks then. So now we've had to do a little bit of tweaking of some of the original mine to allow for not to reduce the jetpacks, but allow for those as well. But we also now have crouching. And when we've seen some spaces where you need to start crouching in there. So the mines are really exciting now.
Yeah, oh man. So I get claustrophobic. And that video that David sent with the crouching, that raised my heartbeat a little bit, just thinking about that. Being trapped in a cave like that. Oh my goodness. So I went to there's a place in Texas called Enchanted Rock. And we'll wrap this up and then get our special guest on here shortly, which is basically the leak. But I went to a place called Enchanted Rock in Texas, and on top of the rock, it's this giant rock formation. And on top of the rock, you can walk around the top. It's about a quarter of a mile, probably wide or whatever. But there's a place where there's caves, and kids and people were crawling into this little hole that you have to really, it's tight, and you have to crawl for about 50 yards in this tight cave to get out the other side. And I looked in there and I got as close as I could get, but I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
No way. Not happening.
No backing up, is there?
I mean, I didn't go in to know whether that would be doable or not, but it was tight enough for me to go, no way.
Yeah, I've seen some videos of people getting stuck and not coming out.
No.
That won't necessarily be in a tourist place, but yeah. But this is a game, so you
it's a game, but
and go back to the main menu.
But it's real enough with the sound and with our graphics, and that we can create enough of an experience that the heart rate does elevate a little bit.
Yeah, and I think there was always sounds and rocks falling in the previous Vegas one, and I think as time goes on, if we can create, especially with some of our quantum monsters and some of the atmosphere, if we can create kind of an atmosphere, I mean, I'm an old school gamer, so those that are maybe familiar with Resident Evil 2, so some of those, you're just walking along, some of the jump scares or some of that feeling where you just don't know what's quite around the corner. You can hear things before, we can start building that kind of atmosphere in those mines. I think that'll take that to a whole different level. It's not just case of hi ho, we'll chop a few, get a few diamonds, here we go, kind of thing. Yeah, there'll be some real danger in those mines, as there should be.
Yeah, which is the way mining is. It's a dangerous industry, unpredictable elements. All right, well, that brings us to our special guest. So let's go ahead and get him up here. All right, here we go. We got David. Welcome to COPICafe, sir.
It's me again.
What are you drinking, Mr. Stanley?
Yeah, Stanley as usual. So.
All right, good. Well, good to have you back on COPICafe. I know that you are in the massive grind, negative time, you said.
Yeah.
What's going on in your world? You want to show us a little something? You got some fun?
Yeah, some of the last little bits that we're working on for this release. I mean, look at my hair. Like, I'm not even wearing a hat today, so you see how bad the hair gets during game development. So
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
I think we can hop around to maybe look at the avatar creator, maybe look at the main menu. We can look at a few things just to see some of the quality difference. There's a nice scene thing that we can go through, and maybe we'll fly through a mine or something like that.
Beautiful.
We're kind of
Let's do
winging it here. So
Yeah. Let's do it.
I'll share my screen really quick.
All right.
So there we go. And main menu has actually changed a little bit. So you can see some nice new coloring. Some of these background things, some of the old screenshots, you'll see a new round of these for the new update. They just haven't been updated yet. But yeah, let's hop into the creator here. Oh, there we go. And one of the things I want to mention, you can actually look at the general quality of avatars have improved, the proportions. There's gonna be a lot of things that you can do with morphing now that makes things like way better. You can create all sorts of ethnicities now with really great accuracy. But we're just kind of doing an early preview. I'm not going to go through everything here. We do have this studio set up here that allows you to actually see things in a different lighting environment. I think that's actually very, very cool. Yeah.
Wow.
And the new suits as well.
New suits. There is going to be some changes done to these because some of these got a little messed up when we changed some body stuff. But yeah, there's going to be actually, these suits are going to be a little bit different in the creator itself. You're actually not going to see the suits. You're just going to have an underwear or boxers so you can see your entire body. So maybe that's exciting for some people. But these types of suits, these cyber suits, you'll see a lot of those as light armor and medium armor, and you'll be given one at the start of the game. So
I like it. Start off with the disco. Ooh. Evening.
Yeah. Really cool lighting stuff. So it gives you an idea once you've kind of created a lot of things in the studio here. You can actually get an idea of what your avatar might look like in different lighting.
It's great.
And it's really cool. All the detail comes through here.
Yeah, look at her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Stunning.
Yeah, you can actually see all the pore details as well. It probably doesn't come through on stream, but they're looking pretty good. I think people are going to love this, especially when they see all the body stuff that they can do now. Even the males with the big muscles and all that kind of stuff.
We saw the one guy that was just jacked.
You can get really jacked. You can literally just have like a superhero build. So
yeah, 6,000 calorie a day diet kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay.
How about do you want to go ahead and just maybe look around in maybe Solace 2 and we'll for a mic?
Yeah.
Give me a second here because this is going to take a bit for me to go to another map. Here we are. And we are in Solace 2.
Solace 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can actually zoom out here.
Solace or Solace?
Yeah. Oh, give us the eagle's eye view or what is it? This is a spaceship eye view.
Yeah, spaceship's eye view. Yeah, it's all here in one map. So when you guys run around in here out there in the community, it's all in this one big space, but it's pretty cool to be able to see things from this angle. I think.
Yeah, you can go from like miles in the sky down to 1 inch in the engine.
Yeah, it's crazy. Incredible. It's all loaded at once too. This is all kind of non-baked too, so not easy on the PC. It's much better once it's packaged down, but we're able to get the full context of things that are in here. Also, some nice looking little waterfalls.
A multiple artists can work in the same level at the same time because it breaks them down to individual files.
Yep. Indeed. There's also been some lighting changes. They may be hard to see from here, but 5.5 came with some differences. We definitely had a bug with exposure, so a lot of the I think the lighting's improved and looking better. We did a lot of extra work on that. It'll probably look significantly different from the way it was back in our last release. So, but anyway, that's what we're getting to. You can actually find a little mining area here that's work in progress. There's also a little mining processor. Somebody's probably seen this thing in
I've seen that
black and white stuff.
Solar panel.
Yeah, I think the community was guessing what it was. Yeah.
What is that processing?
mining processor. So once you get the stuff out of the mine, you go here and turn it into an actual craftable material.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Solar.
Over here, that's just one of the markers that pops up. You wouldn't see that in game. There's a few things sitting around. Some of these areas are still being decorated, but we can
Ooh, here
actually
we go.
ease
Oh boy.
into a mine here.
Oh, so different from the Vegas. You don't go down in a lift anymore. You just run straight in.
On some of them you will, on other ones you won't. So there's a little bit of a drop off into some stalactites and water there. Doesn't sound like a good thing. I almost want to. Some of the parts get very, very dark, like I said before. So it might.
But we'll have headlamps.
Yeah, you'll have headlamps. Looks like there's a little break room over here. Got a little break room in the mine and some storage that's around. But yeah, this isn't a place you want to get caught with a dead battery or something like that.
Oh, interesting.
No.
And there's many different entrances and things around the way. I almost want to. I know we don't have a lot of time for this one. I almost wanted to run around in here with a headlamp actually on. But
Oh, you got a playable character.
yeah, I think we can set that up right now. I need to get back to the mine entrance because I'm already getting confused. just being in the mine there. So let's see. Hold on. I have to let me change some settings here. Make sure this client. We're going to run kind of two Unreals at once to do this, so it's probably not going to be great frame rate wise. So don't take that as an indicator. But let's see if we can play here really quick.
All right.
So we got a little bit of light here. I need to walk a little bit slower because this is not a place where you should run. It's not a good place for children either.
It's not too tight. I can handle this, but when you have to crouch, I'm in trouble.
Not good for children. I thought it'd be perfect for minors.
Yeah, there actually is some areas where you would likely have to crouch, but we'll have to. It's kind of spooky in here anyway, just walking around. Let's see if we can find an area where you might have to crouch. That was the mess hall. It's a lot easier now that I have.
I want one of those suits where you can change the LED color.
Oh, well, maybe. Eventually down the line we could do something like that. I'm really afraid to go all the way down there, honestly, because I'm just not sure. I don't know. I'm just afraid. This
is the first time we've actually seen the characters all working.
So is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good in here. So just got our headlamp on. This says cliff ahead this way. I need to stop running. It's very, very silly thing to do.
Cliff ahead.
There's a nice little
when you
drop
fall
off
down that cliff, you can die, I assume.
Yeah, not on this release, but the next one
Right.
we'll have that need system in. We got a little reset thing that's in there right now. Oh, I think I just got hit by rocks. Oh yeah, you can see rocks falling over there.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so a little bit of a rock collapse there. But I'm okay, of course.
You made it.
Yeah.
Is crouching working?
Yeah, I think we can. There we go. We can.
Oh.
We're crawling.
Oh, you don't need it here anyway.
We're on some sort of sneaking mission right now. We're going down in elevation, that is for sure.
Yeah, notice that.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is quite a labyrinth. You will find areas where you do need to crouch, but I haven't personally went through everywhere in this mine yet, so I couldn't exactly tell you where it is.
I'm going to need some exit signs or I'll freak out.
So what happens if you fall at the moment then? Can you get stuck?
We have a reset thing that actually resets you, but
that'll change over time.
I can't promise there's not some areas that will actually get you just totally stuck.
Yeah, that's what the community help us with, finding those areas.
Look at this. This even goes further down.
Woo. This is
nice
huge.
jump.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Yeah, it just keeps going down.
Wow.
And the idea is, like I said before, is the deeper you go, the greater risk you take, the more valuable things that you can actually find in a mine.
Wow.
This looks sketchy. So I don't know if I want to go that way. I don't think I'll be able to come back. Technically, I could jetpack in here as well, but jetpack's animations are being worked on right now, so it'd probably look terribly janky if I did something like that. So, but that kind of gives you, I mean, an overall of what kind of the new characters are looking like.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's huge. I thought it was a bit of a minor update.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Yeah. I think it's pretty fantastic. I think it's going to be a really solid release. We're going to have another one that comes after that in shorter order, and then we'll come up to the big release. So
it's a huge minor update.
Tools.
Deadly drop. Yep. I think that's pretty clear.
Is there a Farmer Joe bobblehead in this mine?
Whoa.
I'm just going to jump off.
Wow, that's a long way down. Oh, boy, you're not going to make it.
Whoa. Yeah.
Oh,
it's a good thing we don't have fall damage. Wow. Look, that's a little bit of an open there, but.
Whoa, what's that through the top? Can somebody come all the way down?
Yeah, maybe.
Jet back out.
There could be multiple entrances and exits to mines or caves in the future. So these are
maybe you need a quick escape if something's chasing you.
Where are we going now? This is
mine monsters.
Ooh.
Definitely.
Oh, walk the plank, buddy.
We were talking earlier about creating like an atmosphere similar to maybe like Resident Evil 2. You just don't know what's quite around the corner, especially if your batteries start flickering.
I think it's just mines in general. I mean, even in real life nowadays, mining is still a very dangerous job. Yeah. And there's a lot of parts of the world where they're still kind of doing mining in a similar way to, 100, 200 years ago. But it's mining is just dangerous.
It is a tough profession. Expensive as well. Expensive and tough.
I do believe this one. This mine has a lot of depth. I'm not seeing as much danger as I've seen in some of the other ones, though. But danger doesn't matter really right now until you can actually die.
Nope.
So
you still got more up there. I like the detail on the rocks. And this is, like you say, without any veins, so that will all come some extra details.
Yeah, totally.
Or will they be like sparkling?
I'm actually very curious as to where I'm going right now.
Yeah, it seems to go on forever.
Definitely have a few lighting issues that we're working out with some of the dust and fog. It's down here, but I don't know. Should we wrap it up there? Or something? Wow.
I don't want to spoil too much.
It just keeps going.
It seems to, yeah.
Yeah, well, once again, I mean, very, very impressive. Super cool. I bet a lot of people are really looking forward to getting in there. And checking this out. So
it's creepy. It's creepy.
Without a doubt, I think it's going to be a exciting release. Yeah. A huge minor update, if you will.
It's a huge minor update. That is for sure. So.
Well, I guess we can just go ahead and say goodbye. Thank you all for watching. Great leaks, as always. And we'll see you on the next COPICafe.
I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. I'm in a game all day.